Hi guys, so I've got something a bit different to read to you now. This is by Roald Dahl, but it's actually a book of poems. Now they're quite funny, so I'm going to read a few of these for you. The first one is called The Cow. Now there are some pictures, so I will show you as we go along. The Cow. Please listen while I tell you now about a most fantastic cow. Miss Milky Daisy was her name, and when, aged 7 months, she came to live with us, she did her best to look the same as all the rest. But Daisy, as we all could see, had some kind of deformity, a funny sort of bumpy lump on either side above the rump. You can see her there. Now, not so very long ago, these bumpy lumps began to grow, and 3 or maybe 4 months later, I stood there an enthralled spectator. These bumpy lumps burst wide apart, and out there came, I cross my heart, of all the marvellous wondrous things, a pair of gold and silver wings. A cow with wings, a flying cow, I'd never seen one up to now. Oh, Daisy dear, this can't be true. She flapped her wings and up she flew. Most gracefully she climbed up high, she fairly whizzed across the sky. You should have seen her dive and swoop, she even did a loop-the-loop. Of course, almost immediately, her picture was on live TV, and millions came each day to stare at Milky Daisy in the air. They shouted, "Jeepers creepers, wow! It really is a flying cow!" They laughed and clapped and cheered and waved, and all of them were well behaved. There we go, there's Daisy flying. Except for one quite horrid man who travelled from Afghanistan. This fellow standing in the crowd raised up his voice and yelled aloud, "That silly cow! Hey, listen, Daisy, I think you're absolutely crazy." Unfortunately, Daisy heard quite clearly every single word. "By gosh," she cried, "what an awful cheek! Who is this silly person quite so meek?" She dived, and using all her power, she got to 60 miles an hour. "Bomb's gone," she cried. "Take that," she said, and dropped a cow pat on his head. There you go, guys. Oh dear. Okay, the next one is called... Now let's have a look. Got to find... Oh, I've lost my bookmark. I do apologise. Let me just quickly find it again. Aha, this one is called The Pig. In England once there lived a pig, a wonderfully clever pig. To everybody it was plain that Piggy had a massive brain. He worked out sums inside his head. There was no book he hadn't read. He knew what made an aeroplane fly. He knew how engines worked and why. He knew all this, but in the end, one question drove him round the bend. He simply couldn't puzzle out what life was really all about. What was the reason for his birth? Why was he placed upon this earth? His giant brain went round and round. Alas, no answer could be found. Till suddenly one wondrous night, all in a flash, he saw the light. He jumped up like a ballet dancer and yelled, "By gum, I've got the answer!" And there's Piggy, busy reading lots and lots of books. "They want my bacon, slice by slice, to sell at a tremendous price. They want my tender juicy chops, to put in all the butcher's shops. They want my pork to make a roast, and that's the part'll cost the most. They want my sausages in strings, they even want my chitterlings. The butcher's shop, the carving knife, that is the reason for my life." Such thoughts as these are not designed to give a pig great peace of mind. Next morning in comes Farmer Bland, a pail of Pigsville in his hand, and Piggy with a mighty roar bashes the farmer to the floor. Now comes the rather grisly bit, so let's not make too much of it, except that you must understand that Piggy did eat Farmer Bland. He ate him up from head to toe, chewing the pieces nice and slow. It took an hour to reach the feet, because there was so much to eat, and when he'd finished, Pig, of course, felt absolutely no remorse. Slowly he scratched his brainy head, and with a little smile he said, "I had a fairly powerful hunch that he might have had me for his lunch, and so because I feared the worst, I thought I'd better eat him first." And there you can see there's Piggy, nice and full after his dinner. Okay, I've got one more to read you guys, and it is called The Scorpion. You ought to thank your lucky star that here in England where you are, you'll never find, or so it's said, a scorpion inside your bed. The scorpion name's a stingerling, a most repulsive, ugly thing. and I would never recommend that you should treat him as a friend. His scaly skin is black as black, with armour plate across his back. Observe his scowling, murderous face, his wicked eyes, his lack of grace. Note well his long and crinkly tail, and when it starts to swish and flail, oh gosh, watch out, jump back, I say, and run till you're a mile away. The moment that his tail goes swish, he has but one determined wish. He wants to make a sudden jump and sting you hard upon your rump. What is the matter, darling child? Why do you look so tense and wild? Oh, mummy, underneath the sheet there's something moving on my feet. Some horrid, creepy, crawly thing. Do you think it could be a stingerling? What nonsense, child, you're teasing me. I'm not, it's reached my knee. It's going up my thigh. Oh, mummy, catch it quickly, try. It's on my bottom now. It's ow, 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 ow. Oh dear, got bitten by the stingerling. Hope you enjoyed the poems, guys.